Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. These are the best cars that I drove in May and June. Okay, so let's get right into it. I didn't post a video for May and I didn't post one for June yet, and it's halfway through July, so I thought I would just combine the 2 months and pick the 6 cars that I liked the most from May and June. First car on the list is a 2015 Porsche 911 Carrera 2 GTS with a PDK. This particular vehicle, Carrera 2 meaning that it's rear-wheel drive, and the GTS, I really enjoy the GTS as this happy medium between maybe just a base Carrera S, and a GT3 or a GT3 RS. It gets some of the individual features of the GT3, center lock wheels, you can get bigger brakes, you can even get carbon ceramics. It gives you kind of this really nice happy medium. If you want to go to the track once in a while, the GTS is a great choice, where it's still comfortable on the street like a Carrera or Carrera S. It's not so track focused like a GT3 or a GT3 RS, and it gives you the option to do both. So to me, if you're someone that, I'm buying a 911 and I'm not really sure that I want to go to the track all the time, but I want to have the ability to, but I still want a comfortable car to drive, every day, the GTS is a really logical choice. And this one had 71,000 miles on a 15, which is, a little higher than we typically see. And despite the higher mileage, the thing really felt solid. And, if I had, the money, I would certainly consider buying one of these. I would love a manual, but the PDK, as we know, is really good. All right, so the second car on my list is a 2018 Porsche 718 Cayman S with a PDK. I've talked about the Cayman before. I really love the Cayman, and this being an S model, again, the GTS 911 that I previously mentioned, the Cayman S here, tons of capability, really, really fast car, but a car that you could drive all the time, and very comfortable car, and just a beautiful car to look at. I love the Cayman for that reason, which leads me into number 3 on the list, which is a 2017 Porsche 718 Boxster S. This model also having a PDK, and the Boxster to me is a, hey, I want a really great cruiser, really great car to drive all the time. Still has tons of power, same powertrain as the Cayman S, same suspension, same, everything. It just has a power roof. Owning a 2005 base Boxster myself, this is the progression of that model, 12 years later, and the refinement has only gotten better, and the overall driving experience has only gotten better. Again, just that progression of technology and engineering over time is something that Porsche has done really well with the Boxster, and this model is no exception. Moving on to my 4th pick, this is a 2014 Porsche 911 Turbo S. I've talked about the Turbo S before. I've driven the latest model at 22, and I've driven some older models as well. The 14 is just an unbelievable car. So fast, so much power, all-wheel drive, just rockets off the line. This really is a drag car that you can also drive every day, and you can also take to the track. And it's really comfortable, and you could go on a long road trip. And I mean, the Turbo S has become, in the 911 lineup, just an unbelievable option because of the range that it has. I mean, the amount of things that you can do with it is just unbelievable. These cars are really, really, really capable. And this one being a 14, 45,000 miles, I mean, the thing looks and feels like new despite it being, 8 years old. And just, I can't say enough about the Turbo S. I have always been more of a GT car kind of person, and I want that high revving, GT3 experience, but the Turbo S is just unbelievable, and I would really, really love to own one someday. Okay, number 5 on the list, I get away from Porsche with this vehicle, but a car that I hold near and dear to my heart, and one that the car community absolutely adores. This is an 08 Honda S2000, just an unbelievably fun car to drive. So simple, very few amenities, very small, lightweight, front mid engine, rear wheel drive, 6-speed manual. Honda makes one of the best manual transmissions that you can buy. Just such a fun, precise, confidence-inspiring car, and a car that truly, no joke, I would have bought a long time ago if I fit. Being 6'4", one of the unique features of the S2000 is that the steering wheel is fixed. That's it. It is where it is. There's no tilt. There's no telescope. You know, if you don't fit and you know you got the seat all the way back and all the way down, sorry. And you know, I can putter around in an S2000 and probably drive at 7 or 8 tenths. But I'm just not really comfortable. My legs rub against the wheel and I can't really heel toe very well. And you know, there's just too much compromise. But otherwise I would have bought one a long time ago. And not to say I told you so, but you know, the prices used to be, you know, $15,000, $20,000 for a good driver in good condition. And now they've gotten to be, you know, 30, 40 grand if it's, you know, a really good, well-maintained, clean example. And to me, I think even at $30,000, I think the S2000 is a great driving experience and it's probably worth the money. 40, 50, 60 grand for like really low mileage ones, I think that's a whole nother conversation, but like you're spending a little too much money for what is a 2-liter rear-wheel drive Honda. So either way, I love the S2000, and you know, if I wasn't as tall as I am, I probably would own one right now. You know, no bullshit. Like that's how strongly I feel about these cars. And you know, I just can't say enough about them. It's probably, by the time you're watching this, it's too late. Like the values are crazy. But if you already have one, good for you. And if you somehow come across one that's like 25 or 30 grand in really good condition, just buy it and, you know, be done with it because they're just that good of cars. Okay, the 6th and final car on this list is a very, very, you know, talked about car, a highly sought after car, a car that we haven't had in the United States for a long time, and there's so much hype around this vehicle. This is a 2021 Audi RS6 Avant, and Avant meaning that it's a wagon. And, you know, I can't say enough good things about this car. You know, the performance is unbelievable. Twin turbocharged 4-liter V8, 590 horse, 590 torque. It's basically, call it 600 both ways. All-wheel drive, and, you know, just a car that you could use all of the time. The space and practicality of a wagon added in with the tremendous performance of that twin turbo V8. And, of course, it really just looks cool. And if you appreciate wagons and you appreciate the fact that you don't see wagons very often in the United States, it's a really cool car to have, and a car that I was really happy to be able to drive because so many people have been talking about it for the last couple of years since it was announced that it was coming to the United States. My one thing I will say about the RS6, and it's kind of a blanket statement about Audi in general, is all of the RS cars, to me personally, and take my opinion as you will, but all the RS cars of this era have all kind of driven the same. They're fast, they're easy to drive, but they aren't really driver's cars, and that's just kind of how I interpret them. To me, this drives really similar to, I've driven SQ8s. It just kind of drives like a big, heavy car because it's a big, heavy car. This thing weighs somewhere around 5,000 pounds, and no matter how much horsepower and torque you throw at it, it's still a big, heavy 5,000 pound wagon, and you know, it's not gonna be nimble and sporty to the same degree as a sports car. And you know, I'm not gonna claim that this is trying to be a sports car, but to me, like, that's what I prioritize and why I like vehicles like Porsche Macan, because it is smaller and it has more of that driving characteristic of a car. This sitting low, like a car, it does drive very nicely. It's just big and heavy, and you know, ultimately, like, the best feature of this car is the throttle pedal. Third gear is amazing, and then you shift up into fourth and you're like, holy cow, this thing is still pulling really, really hard. So it is kind of one of those cars that doesn't really make sense for the United States, because we don't have an Autobahn, we don't have a place to go, you know, drive flat out. And frankly, just having 600 horsepower all the time, you're either A, gonna get arrested, or B, you're not gonna use it. Or then you're talking about going and drag racing a $140,000 wagon. So It's kind of one of those cars where, sure, I would love to have one, but what do you do with it? And the answer is, well, you drive it all the time and you drive it every day, but it would just take a lot of self-control, I guess is the point. When you have 600 horsepower at your disposal all the time in a car that, if you don't know what it is, you don't know what it is. It's just a wagon. It's just an Audi wagon. The kind of sleeper aspect of it is really cool, and I love the look of a wagon, so it's really cool for that regard. So I hope that doesn't sound like I don't like the car, because I really do. It's just more of a, hey, this is a big, heavy, high horsepower wagon, and without getting yourself into trouble, there's just not really a lot of room to use that here in the United States. So with all of that said, those were the 6 cars that I enjoyed driving the most from May and June. And thank you for your patience. I hope that you made it all the way through this video. I'm gonna keep making the videos as quickly and as consistently as I can. Let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see next from the channel. If there's any cars that you liked from this list or you want to know more about, feel free to leave a comment below, and I'd love to discuss. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.